Never had one of these before. Cheers. Not half bad. That's pretty good. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sam, and it's the end of the month. Actually, it's technically the beginning of the next month. I'm a little late on filming this one, and that's completely on me. But yeah, so it's technically the beginning of November. It is November 1st when I'm filming this. NaNoWriMo, happy NaNoWriMo to everybody. Yay, we're all excited. So as usual at the beginning of the month, I go through my goals and I'm going to reflect on October and then talk a little bit about November and kind of my reset that I ended up doing before the beginning of the month and that I'm still doing also including today because I happen to have today off, and so that's kind of the way the cards fell this year, this time. Let's start with the October goals. So first off, my first goal was to finish the book in the romance series that I started back in July, and technically I did. I declared myself done with it yesterday, or 2 days ago technically, and I'm really happy with where it's at. The reason that I'm declaring it done is because a lot has changed as far as what the plot's gonna be, and so because of that, I like where it's at right now, and I'm going to keep it there because I'm going to be rewriting most of it anyways, and I want to get myself mentally prepped for what I'm starting today, which is the first book in this series. So we're going to start that today. I don't know why my computers turn off. It's so funny because I have them set for 45 minutes and they turn off after 15 without a fail. Not even 15 minutes. So I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm sorry they turned off. My next goal was to outline and plan the book that I'm writing this month for NaNoWriMo, and I generally did. I have a vague outline for it. I do want to do a video of how I plan something out as a discovery writer. I don't plot my story ahead of time specifically. I don't plot exactly what scenes need to happen. I plot generally what needs to happen in the story and then write scenes that'll fit into the story. So I do want to do a video at some point about that because I see a lot where people have very specific outlines and that just doesn't work for me. I end up vetoing the outline a couple days later, so I don't do it that way, so we'll see what happens. But if you'd be interested in that kind of video, do let me know, and I can work on that for sure. The next goal was to get 5K in my co-author fantasy book. I think I hit like just under 5K. I think I wrote about 4.5K in the co-author fantasy book, which honestly I'm pretty okay with. I did still get stuff written in it. It wasn't my primary focus for the month, which is why I didn't write as much. But we also didn't do our writers' meetings as much this month, simply because we didn't have the time. We were very busy this month. So we are planning on picking those up again, and we'll be doing joint filming and stuff for our other channel, which is the Callie and Beans Books. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a little bit more written in that, but this month is NaNoWriMo, and I am concentrating on the first book in my romance series. My next goal as far as writing went was to write 50K words last month in October. I was close. I think I wrote 46K, so I got pretty close, and honestly, I'm happy with that. I only had 3 days total where I didn't write more than like 15 words, and those were mostly like bad mental health days or days where I really just could not find it within myself to write anything. And even for a job, you are allowed every once in a while bad days. And so that's what I kind of chalked them up to in 3 in 1 month, honestly, especially with the changing of the seasons and the fact that I do have depression and anxiety and sad is a thing right now. I'm pretty happy with that, I'm not gonna lie. So I'll take it. I did get a solid number of words written, which I'm pretty happy with, and the majority were in the romance book as well. And then my last writing goal was to write daily. Now, while I may not have written every single day, I still made an effort of opening up one of my documents every day and at least looking through it, if nothing else. So I would call that a success. Even if I didn't write any additional words, I still did do something with my writing every day. So I will take that, and I think that would be counted as a success in my book. There are bugs on my window, and I don't know where they're coming in from, and I'm really confused by this. So I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. So my goal for October was to read 8 books. I read 4. I started several others, so hopefully I'll be able to finish a couple more in November, but with school I'm also really not surprised. I had a lot of readings to do for school and a lot of projects and stuff, and it's only going to increase next month because it's a short semester, and I'm done within the first 2 weeks of December, so there's a lot going on in November. Next goal was to create a pre-filming habit. Since I have every other Wednesday off, I decided that's going to be kind of my filming day for the next 2 weeks, and honestly I kept with that pretty well. The only week I didn't post a video was because we actually lost power for 2 days in the house, and so I did not post that week because I was stressed out beyond belief about that. So yeah, but I would say otherwise it was pretty successful, I think. Yeah, overall I did pre-film pretty well, so that's good. Another goal was to keep my space clean, or to continue to keep the space clean. I did manage to do that for the most part, even if it means that on Sundays I just took an hour and I just cleared off my desk, I cleared out the bedroom, I cleared off the coffee bar and in the living room and the kitchen counters, and we have been making an effort to try and keep the house clean, even though we're both really busy. John's working extra hours because he always does for the holidays. And then with me in school right now, I have a lot of stuff that I gotta do. School is very time consuming and my work hours are really weird. So yes. And then the last part that I had as a goal for this month was I wanted to reorganize this office a little bit. And I actually did. I did do some of it. I moved one of the bookshelves off of the wall and I moved it to a different wall. And the reason for doing that though is I'm bringing in a schedule that I made last year for school with very large whiteboards that maps out my entire semester. I brought them upstairs finally. I have realized that I really do need something to help with keeping track of when everything's due. So I'm going to be hanging 2 large whiteboards up on my wall. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but it helped me last time, and I think is really going to help keep me on track and getting things turned in on time. So I did want to plan out a mural, and I did to a point. I don't know if it's going to get done anytime soon, but I do have a plan for it at least. So that's a start, and I'm excited for when I do finally get the time to paint it. So yes. Those were my October goals, and I'm pretty happy with them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really impressed with myself for getting a lot of those done. Cheers. It tastes kind of weird, I don't know. This is the crisp apple. We also don't drink a lot of soda, just in general. We only drink it if we go out. And even then, we're honestly more likely to order lemonade than anything else because it's sugar. This, I don't know, it's not bad though. I'd drink it again. I have 3 in my fridge, so hopefully I'll drink it again. Let's move on to November. So for November, I have my list of goals, and then I also have my reset that I did, I suppose I could say. And let's go through the quick reset. I did go through and I planned out all of the videos that I'm going to be doing for the month of November. Because it's November, about half of them are NaNoWriMo vlogs, and then I also took off the week of Thanksgiving because we will be traveling, and I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to pre-film or not before that. It depends. I have a big paper due that week, or the week before, so we'll see if I end up having time to pre-film or not. So that really kind of depends on whether or not I can get this done in advance. Also, we have we call it a family calendar that we have downstairs, and that one is basically where we write down everything that both John and I have this month. So if we're going to visit family, if we have any weddings, or if there's people coming to visit or any of that, we try to keep track of it. We have a little notebook that we put it in when we first plan it, and then when it comes to the month, I put it up on the whiteboard, and then we color code based on me, him, family, or the cat, actually, because she had a doctor's appointment, so we put that in as well. I also went through and I made a TBR, so I'm just gonna put that in right here because I don't know what else to do with it, but I made myself a little miniature TBR, so enjoy. Hey, so I'm down in the library with my reorganized bookshelves, which I'm really excited about, and I'm gonna go through my TBR. So normally for a TBR, I'll actually play my TBR game, which I have. It's a random card draw TBR, which is what I normally do, but I'm really just not feeling that right now. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I went through my shelves and my vibe card, and I found some books that I'm really just feeling right now, that I really want to get to, that I want to get through. And so we're just gonna do those instead. We'll see how it goes. There's one in here that I've already started. I just really want to finish it. I'm really enjoying it, but I really do want to finish it. So we're gonna actually start with that one because it's easy enough. And that is Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second book in the Foundry Side trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is a slight fantasy, almost sci-fi type story that takes place in a different world called Tavane. We follow our main character, Sanchia, who has this, I don't want to call it a gift because it's kind of a curse for her as well, but she can hear the thoughts of objects. And so she's able to communicate with objects. She's able to figure out where things are based on what she can hear and feel in a room, kind of thing. And it's very much a revolution story is really what this is. I really love the first one. I have read the first one now twice. This is the second book in the series, like I said, Shorefall, and the third book, Locklands, is out. John actually read the entire trilogy earlier this year and has been kind of bugging me to get to it, but I really wanted to anyways. There is slight romance in here, there is adventure, there is fantasy, there is science, there is so much in this series. I think it's really well done. I'm really enjoying it. I just haven't been in the mind space for heavy fantasy or sci-fi lately. But I'm not very far into it. I am, according to this, I am 50 pages into this book. I do have the audiobook, which is what I've mostly been listening to. So I do plan on continuing this. Alright, sticking with the high fantasy sci-fi stuff, I do want to read The Starless Crown by James Rollins. This is the first book in a series. The second one just came out. I believe I actually have the audiobook for the second one and the first one. This follows a group of kind of misfits, if you will. The main character is a gifted student who foretells the apocalypse, and as a reward is sentenced to death, and so flees the country, you know, as you do. There are dragons in this story from what I've seen, mostly because of the cover of the second book. There is also a broken soldier, a drunken prince, an imprisoned thief. Yeah, that I don't know a lot about it, but I liked that concept. Like, I foretold the apocalypse and was told to leave, and that's basically what I'm going into this book knowing. It is a chonker of a fantasy story. I am very excited to read it. It's also got pretty cool end pages, and I think there's also a map in here. There is a map in here, so here's my world map, and I'm very excited. I look forward to reading this one. It's been on my TBR for a while, honestly. Next one, jumping into a romance, I do want to read Love Catastrophe by Helena Hunting. This is about a cat whisperer and a man who has been gifted a cat by his deceased aunt, and the cat absolutely despises him, and he calls her in to try and figure out what's going on with this cat. So, and romance ensues, I hear. This feels like a chonky book for Helena Hunting, but all of hers are a little bit longer, so I don't feel so bad about it. But I'm intrigued. I do need to read more romance anyways, because I am writing romance, and there's also puns, so I'm sold by the puns as well. Next, I do have a thriller, I suppose, and it's one that I just got in the last Twisted Retreat box, and that is Ghost Tamer by Meredith R. Lyons. This is about a girl named Rayleigh who is gifted with the ability to see ghosts after a tragic train accident where she loses her best friend. And this ghost has apparently attached itself to her, not of her best friend, someone else, has attached itself to her, and she has to figure out what's going on and why it is that this ghost will not leave her alone. So I think this is really intriguing. I also love how this book looks. It's so pretty. It's such a pretty book. But yeah, so intrigued. I'm excited. I did not read nearly enough ghost stories in the month of October, so we're gonna move it into November as well. Next is a book that I just added to the TBR as well, and that is Air Awakens by Elise Kova. I don't know a lot about this one, except for there's, I believe, elemental magic involved in here, and on the back it says, a library apprentice, a sorcerer, prince, and an unbreakable magic bond. I've heard that this is a good book to start with for Elise Kova's works, so this is where I want to start. I also plan on reading the second installment of the House Witch series by Delmock. These books, without fail, send me into, or have the ability to send me into a reading slump if I let them, or a book hangover, so I can only read them like super spaced out, like a couple months spaced out. But I absolutely adored the first one, and I am super excited to get into the second one. I have a feeling I'm going to read it super quickly once I get started, so I love this series. This follows a house witch named Finley Ashwin, who is working as the chef at the palace as he's trying to hide the fact that he has magic. And since it's a palace, since it's a romance, his secret does not stay hidden for very long, and it comes out that he's able to do a lot of things with his magic, but the reason he hides is because it's assumed that since he has magic, he can do more than he honestly can, and so he's doing his best to try and keep it a secret while dealing with court politics and all of that. So it's a great series. If you have not read it, I highly, highly recommend this series. And the last book on my TBR that I did add actually last month is Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. I absolutely adore this cover and just this the color vibe, the color scheme of this book. This is a best friends to lovers romance, where two best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after. It is the first book in a series, and it was actually one of the other books that caught my eye, and then I realized this was the first one, so I picked it up. I'm really excited. I enjoy best friends romances. I think they're really sweet at times, so I'm curious to see how this one is. And that's my TBR for this month. I forget Air Awakens is very slippery, so everything slides off the top of it. But this is what I would like to read. I do have several papers due throughout the month. I think November is my busiest month as far as homework goes, plus the holidays start, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, back to the video. And I guess the only other thing that I did for prep for November is I declared my NaNoWriMo project. Now, I had put this in once before, and I realized, you know what, I should actually put this in a video, so that's why it's a pre-selection right here. But I will be writing the first book in my Redler Siblings series, so yay, I declared it. Look at me go. I did the thing. I committed to something. It was actually a debate for me up until the last minute what I was going to be doing. So that's why I took until literally day of to declare my project. Let's get into my goals for November. As far as writing goals go, the first one is to write daily, and one of the main reasons for this, not just because of NaNoWriMo, because NaNoWriMo is something completely special in and of itself, I want to make writing into a habit. I already know that if I write during the day, I tend to feel better mentally, emotionally, so I want to make this into a habit that I can turn to every day and get some words on a page. Even if it's just like 10, 20 words on a page, I will take that as a win. So the next goal I have is to get the 50K in my romance book. Hopefully I'll get 50K. Last time I aimed for 50K, I did get more, so I'm very excited. Hopefully I'll get more, but I also don't have as many solid, concrete ideas for this book as I did when I did Camp NaNoWriMo this year. But I'm still really hoping that I will get 50K, maybe a couple more than that. I'd be very excited. And the third goal I have for writing is back to that co-authored fantasy book. I'd like to get another 5K words in that project. I really would. I'd like to build up that world a little bit more. Maybe I'd like to finish the first chapter would be great. I have it fairly started. I have a couple scenes, I have like a scene and a half written in it, but now that we've But now that we've committed to have it being adult fantasy with romance, so almost adult romantasy, there's a couple things that we get to change, and it means that I can expand, I can work on my world building, and I can really kind of let that go, because this is where I excel as an overwriter, is explaining and showing things. So I'm really excited to be able to work a little bit more on that, as well as to develop the relationships between our characters as well. As far as non-writing goals, one of the main ones I have is that school will come first. I need to finish this semester strong. I need to do well in my classes because I do not want to retake these classes. For my degree, you need to get above a certain percentage grade in order for that class to count towards your major, and it's not a C average. You have to get a B or above in order for that class to count for your major. If you don't reach that grade, you have to retake the class. And honestly, I would really like to avoid doing that. I'm also taking some higher level classes this semester. They're challenging, and I'm feeling the pressure from at least one of them. The other one's going quite well, but one of them I'm feeling the pressure from, definitely. My goal is to concentrate on school, and I want to do well. So that is my goal. As far as others go, I would like to try and read 8 books again. I wasn't really in a reading mood in October, and I wasn't in an audiobook mood, but that has slowly started to pick up, and I'm wanting to listen to more audiobooks. Plus, I just got 2 in from my library, so I may try and read some books on Libby, which is always a good way to go. Add a little bit of pressure there because they're due back in a couple days. That's that. And then just some general ones that are going to end up being on this list probably every month is to keep my space clean, whether it's with weekly cleanings or just generally cleaning as I'm going along. And then to solidify that pre-filming habit. So that's what I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I know this was kind of a little bit more all over the place as far as my usual sit-down videos go, but I'm still getting used to doing this. Now, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, keep reading, and keep moving forward. Bye!